I knew Rodrigo Garcia. He was one of the directors on 6 Feet. See, again, everything comes around. And he said he was doing this show, and it was based on an Israeli TV show, and it was going to be like 45 episodes. And it was a guy talking in an office, and then he sees his therapist. And I'm like, oh boy. Like, even building the big sets that I build, people get bored in them. They're always like looking for that angle that nobody else has shot after 7 seasons. I'm like, okay, good luck with that, but sure. And so when I started scouting for Paul's house, I said to them, I'd like a real house to kind of tie to, because you're going to want to do establishing. People are going to come and go. So we found a house in Pasadena, and I convinced them that it's not just a room, like it's his house. So it had that kind of little ante room where you could have, or patients come in, because you don't ever want them crossing each other. They could leave through the front door, but they can come in through the side door. And we found a house that kind of had those bones. And so it was able to kind of make him be a character and that set be a character. So for 45 episodes, I don't want them just staring at walls and making it such a basic therapist's office. So I said, I feel like he's more like a teacher, a professor, and a therapist. And so we were able to add all those layers of set dressing into there that your eye could always go and wander and listen. And I feel like it just gave it so much like worn, lived in feel to that room that it never became boring. I felt like it really helped. And it was funny, I went to an interview years and years later, and it was with James Brooks, who did The Simpsons. And he was asking me, and he goes, well, what's one of your favorite sets you've done? And I was talking about like 6 Feet and True Blood. He goes, well, you want to know what mine is? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you're in treatment set. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, that was really pivotal because, it had that interest, and I knew what you had to do for that. So I thought that was impressive that he picked that set. So it was a surprise. But a lot of people respond to that, and there's a lot of articles in magazines and on the internet about that set. Like, would a therapist really have like personal artifacts in there, or would they keep it clinical? And a lot of people wrote in saying like, yeah, my therapist does it in their home and they have their stuff there. It's just what it is. And then I wanted the opposite, because he sees his therapist. And I wanted her to be more the world traveler and, more clean room. And it's in her house as well. So I wanted like a big contrast between the two spaces. So if you ended up just in headshots, you'd know like a quick read of who these people were. So she was more, he was more the messy, professory, layered person. And she was more the world traveler, clean room.